Together. Thank you.
What I'm going to start with is I won't be talking at first. I'll be examining each of the rabbits to see how the rabbits meet the standard of perfection. All of the rabbits are judged by the standard of perfection, and I actually was on the standards committee when this book was written. So when we revised it, it was written before I started judging. But I will be examining the rabbits first. Then when I get ready to place, I will place each rabbit and talk about each rabbit, and you'll hear it there. So first I won't be talking, but I would be glad to talk afterwards. When we're done judging the Hollands, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask any questions. I would love to help. I know this is a new hobby to you all, and I would love to help you out as you start. First of all, I'll give you a little bit of the history of the Holland Lop. This is the smallest breed of normal coated lop. They, over in the rabbit booth over there, you'll see a French lop. That was the first lop. They're very large. The second lop that came about was the mini lop. People say, why are Holland lops called mini lops? Because they are the smallest ones. But actually, mini lops came next, and they were smaller than the French lops. So everyone called them mini lops. After the mini lops, this breed was developed. The word mini had already been taken, so they decided to call them Holland lops. So that's how the name came about. Even though this is the smallest breed of lop, they are really not, the mini lop is the middle one. And sometimes people expect mini lops to be the tiny ones. So I'm going to start judging. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is LK, and we're going to place him 8. And I'm going to show the crowd something in just a minute. I'm not going to disqualify this rabbit, but I want you to see a difference between this rabbit and his teeth. Rabbit teeth grow. Unlike our teeth, if we lose teeth, they're gone. Rabbit teeth continue to grow. They grow 10 centimeters a year. They wear them off by eating. And when the rabbit teeth get out of alignment, when they are crooked, it makes the rabbit, sometimes they grow wrong, and you have to really watch it. He's been pulling on his cage, and he's pulled his teeth out just a little bit crooked. Sometimes they'll bite on the wire and pull, and he's pulled his tooth just a little bit out of alignment. So, you can see when I show, see the teeth there? He's pulled this one where it's broken just a little bit. With that, can you see the teeth? See the teeth? So this may end up giving you a problem. You may end up having to flip the teeth. You can continually flip the teeth while they grow. If you can see the one tooth is growing before the other one, and I'll show the normal teeth right after this. But I want you to see what that tooth looks like. What ends up happening is some rabbits, why some children bite their nails and some children don't. Some rabbits pull on wires, some rabbits don't. They just have different ways of doing that. So he's pulled his teeth out of alignment by pulling on the cage. So that tooth will have to be eventually clipped a little bit. Anyway, LK is going to be 8. He starts off with a good head. He's a little bit narrow. A little narrow in the ears, and he's a little split in the crown. This is a breed that should have a crown sitting right on top of his head, just like a king or queen, and his is sitting back on the back of his head. He starts with a good shoulder midsection, but he's a little bit narrow in the hind end. Part of that is because he's having a little trouble eating, because his teeth are a little bit crooked, so it's giving him just a little bit of trouble over that back line. This is going to be our 7th place rabbit, but I want you to see what normal teeth should look like. So that's how the teeth should look, with the top over the bottoms. So you can see that the top teeth are over the bottom teeth, and that's exactly how you want them. These are normal teeth on this rabbit. The way he does, because the crown would allow him to hold the ears a little bit further down. So he wants to hold his ears up because the crown is narrow. He has a good shoulder in midsection. He could use a little bit more development and fill in the hind end, but mostly there's a lot of points on head and ears in this breed, and he's lacking a little bit of that width. Our 6th place rabbit is going to be Nori. He's better in the head. You can see more width of head in this rabbit, a little bit wider in that head. So he has that head, but he lacks crown. He's a little flat across that crown, doesn't have that predominance of crown, a little folded in his ears. I'll show you as I get to other rabbits. He also starts with a good shoulder midsection, but lacks a little bit of fill, a little bit of wideness in that hind neck, just a little bit of paper in that hip. The next place is okay, this guy has a much better head. You can see the width of head. You can see the crown over top. You can see the crown over top of his head. So a lot more development of the crown. Beautiful shape in the ears, the way he's holding those ears. He starts with a nice shoulder midsection, but he's just a little bit flat behind it. He doesn't have that roundness over the hip that some of the other rabbits above him have. He's just a little bit slipped over there. A little bit, he's losing some fur over top of the back line. Not quite as finished in that fur. The next rabbit is L91. Again, you can see a much better head, much more width of head, and that's what we want in a Holland. A lot of head, a lot of crown, nice shaping to those ears so they stay open down the sidelines of the face. This rabbit also starts with the good shoulder midsection, but just a little bit abrupt in that hind end. He squares off. He's not as round as the bucks above him in the class. He's just a little bit uneven in his coat today. Nice fur color. Our third place box, a lot rounder over that hip, is C583. He has a nice width of head. He's just a little bit weak in the crown compared to my two bucks above him in the class. He's not as well placed. He has a nice shaping and openness to those ears. Good shoulder, midsection, much better roundness over that hip and hind leg. But he just needs more placement in that crown, a better placement in the head. I have two bucks at the top of the class that I like a lot. They haven't quite decided yet. Very nice animals brought into the class. Number 2 is DH. He has a nice width to his head, good placement. You can see the definite ridge line in that crown, a lot better in the crown, nice openness to his ears. He's just slightly longer in the shoulder than my first place buck, but he has a good midsection, nice turn over that hip and hind end, very nice little animal.
No, this is not mine.
Our first place buck is C332. Beautiful width of head. You can see the boldness of that crown, good openness of ears, very smooth. You can see that arch line, good shoulder, midsection, nice and smooth in that turn. He's nice and full to the base of the table in that hind end. Nice rabbit.